Iga Swiatek and Rafael Nadal secured the women's and men's singles titles respectively as the French Open concluded at the weekend. But while Swiatek seems on course for many more titles, there is uncertainty about Nadal's next steps on those shaky legs. Here's Ricardo Chambers with our French Open finals recap.
On Sunday, Rafael Nadal beat Norway's Casper Ruud 6-3, 6-3, 6-love to win his 14th French Open title. It was a record-extending feat, his 22nd Grand Slam crown, moving him too clear of his great rivals Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer on the all-time list. The title run improves his Roland Garros record to 112 wins and just 3 losses, but the road to the title was in many ways his toughest. This was the first time the Spaniard needed to beat 4 top 10 players to win the crown. But even more remarkable is that Nadal, who turned 36 last Friday, fought through a chronic foot problem. It's a problem that cast doubt over whether he would even play.
I was able to play during these 2 weeks with an extreme conditions. No, I have been playing with an injections on the nerves to sleep the foot, and that's why I was able to play during these 2 weeks. No, because I have no feelings on my foot because my doctor was able to put anesthetic injections on the nerves, and that's takes out the feeling on my foot. But at the same time, it's a bigger risk in terms of less feelings, a little bit bigger risk of turning your ankle or have produce another stuff there. So of course, Roland Garros is Roland Garros. Everybody know how much means to me this tournament, so I wanted to keep trying and to give myself a chance here, and that was the only way to give myself a chance here. No? So I did it, and I can't be happier.
Can't be happier for the win, he says, but he is making no promises about when or even if we will see him again.
It's obvious that with the circumstances that I am playing, I can't and I don't want to keep going. So the mindset is very clear. No, I'm gonna keep working and to try to find a solution and an improvement for what's happening in the foot.
Doubt over Nadal's future, but for women's champion Iga Swiatek, the future has never seemed brighter. On Saturday, the 21-year-old beat 18-year-old American Coco Gauff 6-1, 6-3 to lift her 2nd Grand Slam crown. The victory improved her unbeaten run to 35 matches, matching the 21st century record for consecutive wins held by Venus Williams. Swiatek was asked to compare this win with her first Grand Slam title, also at the French Open, back in 2020.
Amazing, honestly. It's so much different than after, 2020 Roland Garros, because right now I feel like I'm more ready to what's coming, and I feel more prepared and more, solid, because it was all pretty hectic 2 years ago, and right now I'm even ready to celebrate a little bit more.
Celebrations for Swiatek, not so much for Gauff. A big tournament for her, but a titleless one. Also losing the doubles final with Jessica Pegula, losing to French pair of Caroline Garcia and Kristina Mladenovic 6-2, 3-6, 2-6.
Yeah, so 2 things, Mariah. Well, let's start with Rafa Nadal, because you heard him explain in no uncertain terms just now that part of the reason why he pushed himself for this Grand Slam was because it was Roland Garros. It's the French clay court that he's so dominant in, and that played a major part in him deciding to push himself there, which that statement by itself leaves you wondering if Wimbledon will be attractive to him and the US hard courts as well at the end of August.
Exactly, and I took note of the fact that he said when describing his injury, he doesn't want to force himself. So that's another, another thing to consider, because it's one thing to have an injury, Lance, and push through the injury because your mindset is very strong, and that's exactly what he did, and it got him to this win. But the moment you start telling yourself that you don't want to do it, then your body starts to give up as well, and we already know of the chronic issues that he has, the foot problem. He does take injections to get through. He took it to get through this particular tournament, and I think that also makes the win very sweeter. We're running out of words to describe Rafael Nadal and his performance, and I do know that the Rafael Nadal fans, Lance, were extremely, extremely happy. And the truth is, if he decides not to play again, and I mean he's not playing because he just chooses to walk away. We know the pending issues. It would be a great note to end on for me.
Well, one of his biggest fans is our senior producer, Ricardo Chambers. But the fact is that Rafa doesn't want to continue playing if it is that he will be forced to take these injections to play.
Yes.
And he spoke of trying to find some way of continuing, because it's very clear that as far as he's concerned, that way won't be the injections. If it is that he has to be taking the injections to play, then it sounds as if he will quit. But he's obviously going to look for some other options. No surprise that Swiatek won the singles title. Unquestionably the best player in the world at the moment. Coco Gauff was in tears after the game. Understandably, because I don't think she had dropped a set for the entire tournament, and she lost in straight sets here. She was unfancied, based on the bookmakers, to win, but she's a competitor, and I guess the fact that it was sort of a lopsided final would have been disappointing for her.
Yeah, Iga Swiatek, somebody, we spoke about her work ethic, just her confidence and her focus. Without a doubt, everybody felt as if she was the overwhelming favorite. She went and she delivered. Interviews coming out that she'll be participating in grass next, and she doesn't really rate herself. Do you rate her on that?
Well, I don't think her Wimbledon outings so far have been as impressive as the hard courts and even clay. But given her current form, I would take on all comers if I'm Iga Swiatek.
Yeah, looking forward to see how she does there.
Yeah.
Top stuff from both of them.
Yeah, we are going to break. When we come back, we talk some cricket, and Craig Brathwaite and Vasper Drakes, captain and coach of the Barbados Pride, celebrating back-to-back titles in the 4-day championship, CWI. Back in a moment.
Thank you for watching Sportsmax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and to click the notification bell to stay informed.